Right. So today we're going to dive into this relationship dilemma. And
Hmm.
I think a lot of people can relate to this. It's the classic shoes off or shoes on debate.
Oh, yeah.
This one has kind of an interesting twist to it.
Interesting.
Yeah. So we're looking at this online post from a 20-year-old woman.
Okay.
She's having some issues with her boyfriend's mom
All right.
over this very rule.
Oh, makes sense.
Yeah. And it's interesting to me how, something as simple as a house rule
Yeah.
can become this battleground for all these different,
Right.
cultural differences and generational perspectives.
Absolutely. And I think that's really what makes this case so interesting because for her and her boyfriend, the no shoes rule
Right.
is completely standard.
Yeah, it's like
Bro.
all their friends are on board too.
Uh-huh.
So it seems like they have this pretty solid house rule.
Yeah, you would think that that would be the end of it, right?
Right.
Like
Yeah.
everybody's on the same page, but that's where I think the potential for conflict really arises because what one group considers common courtesy might be perceived as
Right.
disrespectful or rude by another, and I think that's what we see.
Totally. And that's what happens in this case, right? So
Yeah.
the boyfriend's mom comes over,
Uh-huh.
walks right in with her shoes on,
Oh no.
and our, protagonist here politely asks her to take them off.
Okay.
And the mom,
Yeah.
let's just say she does not handle it well
Oh boy.
at all. It like escalates
Uh-huh.
to the point where the dad even gets involved,
Oh wow.
texting the girlfriend and like accusing her of like asserting dominance and all this stuff.
Oh my gosh, that's so interesting. Okay, so I'm really curious.
Yeah.
Before we jump to conclusions, let's consider why shoe removal might even be a sensitive subject
Okay, yeah.
for the mother, right? So like culturally,
Yeah.
some families see removing shoes as a sign of respect.
Okay.
It symbolizes like leaving the outside world behind as you enter a home. Okay. Right. But others, they may associate it with dirtiness. Like
Oh.
you're implying that their home is unclean.
Interesting. So it's like almost like a cultural code.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
What's considered polite in one context could be totally different
Totally.
in another. And I'm also wondering if this could be like
Yeah.
a generational thing too.
Oh, absolutely.
Like maybe shoe etiquette
Yeah.
wasn't as big of a deal
Right.
a generation or two ago.
Absolutely. Societal norms evolve.
Right.
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 And so what was once commonplace
Yeah.
might now be viewed as outdated.
Totally.
Right. So maybe the mother grew up in an environment where removing shoes was seen as like overly formal
Yeah.
or even insulting,
Right.
Yeah. And so it's just really important to consider these different perspectives.
Totally. But okay, so communication is key, right?
Of course.
And in this situation,
Yeah.
our poster tried to be polite about it, but it clearly backfired.
Right.
So is there anything she could have done differently? Or is this just like a no-win situation?
Right. Well, I think, while she was polite,
Yeah.
perhaps a more proactive approach could have helped.
Okay.
Like, imagine if she had talked to the boyfriend's mother beforehand,
Okay.
explaining the house rule and like why it was important to them.
Yeah.
Right. Or even better, having the boyfriend explain it to his family.
Okay.
Like
Yeah.
presenting a united front.
Right.
It could have helped avoid that initial confrontation.
Oh, I see your point. But then
I
doesn't
know.
that put the boyfriend in kind of a difficult position?
Yeah.
Because then he's stuck between,
Totally.
his
Yeah.
partner and his family.
Yeah.
And that kind of pressure could also backfire, couldn't it?
Absolutely. And you're so right. It's such a delicate balancing act.
Yeah.
And it highlights how complex family dynamics can be
Right.
when you're part of a couple because he's in this tough spot.
Yeah.
He wants to support his girlfriend, but also
Right.
maintain